Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Before we start, I would like to convey that this is the first Liaison Delegate and Council meeting held by IBCSD, and we plan to be annual function of IBCSD together all our members and also non-members to share information, and this will be the perfect venue for us to share knowledge and share information about respective companies' achievement on sustainable development, and also inspire.
Please remain seated and wait for further instructions.
We are in a systemic crisis. I think the planet is in trouble. I think the social tensions are rising universally. I think we're looking at failure of government to take action and to take a lead.
Our current business as usual development paradigm will simply take us to a much too costly future, because now we're starting to see Mother Earth sending invoices back.
And that's going to change the language of business, and WBCSD will be the voice of business in that.
Also just a mindset, it's a willingness or will to do the right thing.
We are creating what will be the global agenda for business action and sustainability. That's what this Action 2020 will turn into. And if you CEO or you council member are serious about sustainability in your business, you should be one of the first movers on this agenda. It is about creating a global agenda for business.
Saw that presentation, charismatic presenter, just not on the video, then mine will be very minor then, because I couldn't be, we have to be very committed. And then we try to convince all of you that sustainable development is the way to go in the future for all the companies. Right now we have 13 companies, around 15 companies, in which we have been selling for the last 2 years as to how to actually continue practice and improve in sharing our best practices among the members. And I know Indonesia has been not very up, on the front line in this sustainable development program.
Gratitude and appreciation to all participants for coming this morning to attend this event. This event is conducted to provide venue for exchange information about IBCSD stakeholders. This figure suggests that by 2030, $40 trillion will be needed to be invested in urban infrastructure worldwide. Over the next 4 decades, Indonesia is expected to add 92 million to its urban population. In 40 years' time, rural population in Indonesia will decrease from 123 million to 81 million people. In Indonesia, more cities in Java and Sumatra will become metropolitan, with Makassar, Balikpapan, and some eastern cities reaching 1 to 5 million people. And the energy scarcity and environmental destruction are threatening us. And here are the state of business. The solutions are there. The question is whether we are willing to take the actions now. Comply with national environmental policy. The company operation shows that sustainable development is at the heart of their business. Bakri Telkom has reduced the amount of material used in their top time vouchers by over 80% and brand the company as the first Indonesia mobile network, looking at how we drive sustainable innovation, development by promoting business solutions to the sustainability, empower people to understand the challenges, the risk and cost of inaction, regulation and compliance to reward pioneers of sustainable solutions with low barriers of entry and risk. Indonesia Sustainable Business Award 2012 in Jakarta. The award was given to Indonesian companies through 3-month valuation and screening process. The Dialogue Forum held on June 11, 2000. The major IBCSD event on 2012 was the Sustainability Forum on November 7, attended by almost 200 participants with Peter Barker, the IBCSD president, as the main speaker. The event also officially launched the project initiative Indonesia Vision 2015. The latest event held on May 17, 2013 through learning by sharing session with Team Sustainable Management on Agricultural Ecosystem.
First, the Pertamax room will be moderated by Budi Santosa, IBCSD team, with focus area and working group discussing about ecosystem and related to ecosystem. And the second group will be at the biosolar. If you have the small sheet here, book, almost like a book, you can find biosolar just in the next room. A smaller room, so rated also by Budi. And then the second group in biosolar about project and activities will be moderated by Mr. Neil Franklin here, the handsome one. At the same time, parallelly, we will have a general annual meeting that will be strictly limited to council member of IBCSD. We hope that all of you can stay for the entire day session, and now we can speak. Thank you.
Ecosystems Training, or BET, is a freely available capacity building program to increase business knowledge and understanding of ecosystems and biodiversity. Module 2 is about assessing impacts and dependencies and introduces the Corporate Ecosystem Services Review, a methodology co-developed by the WBCSD, the World Resources Institute and the Meridian Institute. Module 3 introduces the concepts and principles of ecosystem valuation and the Guide to Corporate Ecosystem Valuation, a framework to improve business decision-making and valuing ecosystems. Module 4 introduces how ecosystem impacts can be managed and mitigated.
The closest environment. I believe like Garuda Baritwan, flying everywhere, so you have to deal with beyond whatever closer to your company operation, for example. But for Holcim probably, they start with the closest environment first, is your moving program. So, and this is to equip company with the skills that needed to make that decision. So what we try to deliver is the science-based decision making, which is, for example, if you work in the Papuan area, with having ecosystem from snow down to the coastal area, what you need to do to assess your ecosystem impact and dependence, like what I explained in the video presentation. Next, please. This is a different way how to deliver to save the environment. First, previously, when you're approached by the NGO, by other conservationists, they talk from the species point where the ecosystem is affected. This is an example of the place, and this is in Jakarta, near Merapi. Next, please. Also to the area where there is an offshore oil operation or refinery operation as well. It depends to the needs of the company which is attending training. Next, please. Once we identify the risk and the opportunity, then we develop the strategies. This is the first part of the training. And this is module 1 and 2. And based on that, the next training, which is more complicated, because it needs to require various disciplines, multidisciplines, is what we call the CET. Next, please. I think that's all. Thank you. Thank you, Pak Budi.
Thank you, Pak Teguh. Thank you. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Boy Prakoso. So I come from Holcim. I'm from the Corporate Environment Department. So I would like to explain to you about our experience in managing the biodiversity in Holcim. So basically, we can see here what is the biodiversity. We can see that maybe most silicon quarry Cibadak, so we have a silicon quarry in our plant. So next. So this is a brief about Holcim. So Holcim basically is not only cement, but people now has only cement, but this is consists of several business: cement, aggregate, ready-mix concrete, and also asphalt. But we don't have this kind of business in Indonesia. This is overseas the asphalt, but we have cement, aggregate, and RMX in Indonesia.
Players who are now, Pak Jokowi is really insisting in having a very green policy in Jakarta. A working group has been set up, and they are going to release new regulation to force anybody in Jakarta implement a more responsible water consumption. Competition also is another interesting indicator for you to know, okay, how far do you position compared to your competition. Your clients are also expecting a new behavior. And finally, the staff have also their word to say. There was a very interesting study undertaken in Singapore relating the behavior of the staff in a different environment. So you could gain also a lot in transforming the water usage in your business.
What we're doing now at the Start program in Indonesia is to explore what these 5 dimensions mean for Indonesia itself. And in particular today, I'm keen to focus on this bottom right-hand corner here, which is the biodiversity of ecosystem services. So it's all about trying to find ways to more sustainably manage your natural resources, value the natural capital, and in particular, the focus that I'm going to talk about today is looking at forests and ecosystems, and in particular, how REDD+ can be used as an incentive and a motivation. When the government of Norway committed $1 billion to support REDD+ actions here in Indonesia, and this is going to moving towards a system, hopefully, whereby there'll be a payment for performance, whereby the greater amount of emissions of reduced deforestation, the greater Indonesia, the greater type of services that are critical to the function of the economy at both the local, the regional, and the global scale. And so, if you look here, number 1, we talk about the water quantity and quality. And if you degrade a forest, you inevitably are going to have a lower quality of have multiple impacts across the 5 dimensions of green growth. And so we're looking at a sustainable forestry management as one case study. Secondly, looking at the intensification of palm oil. And thirdly, peat and the rehabilitation of peatland.
We operate in Riau province, in Sumatra. This is a subsidiary of April, as I mentioned earlier. And April is a developer of fiber plantation and owner of one of the world's largest pulp and paper. And then paper one is our product, main product, is flagship product. So this is the result of from IBL, from Suwon. So from this graphic, this can be see that with April forest management, we already able to prevent greenhouse gas emission reduction by 45 until 55% compared to forest without our management, because it will become an open access, prone to illegal logging, forest encroachment, forest fire, etc.
And what we do is then we gather all the data that we get globally. We are now at 4,000 companies that respond to us globally. And we then put together reports on different areas or regions of the world. So US report, a global report, an Asia and Japan report. As I mentioned, we started back in 2000 and we have been growing since then. The power of the investors has been growing, and that's how we managed to convince more companies to respond to us. So although the response rate globally, so from the global 500 companies in the world, we have more than 80% of them responding. In Asia and Japan, we only have 35% of them responding, which is in line with other developing regions, and we can see that that growing as awareness builds. So what are the business benefits of reporting through CDP? So for us, in contrast to maybe other environmental green NGOs, we try to put business in the forefront of why you should do that or non-publicly. We understand the concern and maybe the feeling uncomfortable of sharing this information straight away with the public, and we see the trend that, for example, first-time responders very often would respond non-publicly to CDP, and then as they continue to respond to us the second or the third year, they will feel more comfortable to respond publicly. Really, the way the questionnaire is structured is for you to, many companies, the way they describe this as if they hold a mirror in front of them and they can see within the company and understand a lot better the risks and the opportunities that climate change brings to us.
We have done this energy audit at training center. SIA insisted that for every building that they manage, they will want to have energy audit that to be done on their chiller plugging system, 7 cooling towers. After doing the energy audit, after doing the implementation, this is what they did. 4 chillers, 8 pumps, and only 4 cooling towers. So what are the savings that we are talking about here? Upfront capital investment, they save $1 million. If they had not done the energy audit, they would go back to the supplier and say that give me 3 numbers of big chillers, 4 numbers of